Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Happy Wednesday. It's October 16th, 2024, and I am going to talk a little bit about the full moon coming up tomorrow on October 17th. I'm not going to do my official breakdown as I usually do, but I may still timestamp if in fact I go a little bit, if I'm a little lengthy, which I doubt. Because something about this moon just made me feel like, as opposed to me usually taking a great deal of detail and attention to compose a message, that I just wanted to just jump in, say what I feel, say what I need to say, and get on with the reading. I don't know why, but that's just how I'm feeling. Now, this full moon, it's a blood moon, and it's tomorrow, October 17th, 2024, my time at 7 in the morning, 7 something in the morning. And it's in the sign of Aries. Now, the general premise of this lunation is really just, to be honest, another reason why I'm not doing my typical rundown is because as it was the last lunation, everything that I said yesterday is in alignment with this full moon. Go back to my message yesterday if you didn't already watch it, or feel free to watch it again. Everything that I said is in alignment with the energy of this lunation, and I've already said it, so it really wasn't a lot that I said it in a more engaging format, I believe, than I would, typically compose in a message. And I just thought it was really interesting that a lot of the concepts that I picked up in terms of like this surge of new energy, this heightened sense of urgency and hyperactivity and activation, and being called to action almost like suddenly, to just get up and go for it, whatever it is, right? That's pretty much the energy of this moon. If you remember yesterday in the message, the cards that came up were the Ace of Wands, and then it went to the Eight of Wands. And even off of that was the Chariot card. So all about this accelerated force and ambition and drive and perseverance, and just really being confident and unyielding in your focus to do something, maybe even just to be something. Now, this is a full moon, so there still is that currency of release that we're inclined to fall in line with. But what's great about the power of the Aries energy is that where we feel particularly charged up to do something, we can transfer that energy to the releasing aspect of it all, to really just filter out we just came off of an eclipse cycle where we did a lot of considering, and we've been in contemplation and in reflection, and with the Aries energy, you might kind of feel like, oh, not another one, I'm just ready to go for it at this point. But there still is this invitation to clear whatever it was that may have, any debris perhaps that may be left over from that eclipse cycle, that you now have the energy and the confidence to finally let go of. There could have been some things still lingering that we were kind of holding on to here and there, or that was still holding on to us. But there's something about this moon that, although, there's always the invitation to rest and rejuvenate, there is a hyperactivity in the undercurrent of it all that will give you the just the energy you need to also release in that relaxation. Because we've taken a great deal of inventory, and what we weren't able to decide on in terms of what's working for us and what's not, the universe has kind of done for us in many ways. So now it's just like you taking, initiating the authority to activate yourself in a proactive creativity. And in this case, it may not necessarily be to initiate something new or to start a new project or to create something from scratch, but it absolutely is admissible to take that time to make decisive actions toward cleansing and clearing your force field, and more specifically your energetic force field, so it can be as organically magnetized as possible to be attracting all of those desirable things unto you and you unto it ultimately. So that's the general idea of this, of this lunation. There's also Mars, Jupiter, and Pluto are all connected. It's all a connection within this moon. So consider the frequencies of those energies. Mars in particular is just very direct, very assertive, sometimes even aggressive. Jupiter being very high-minded and big picture oriented, but also very optimistic. But again, double fire energy, very optimistic, very philosophical in its approach to life, seeing the best case scenario or the big picture of what you have the ambition to create for yourself. And then what did I say? Jupiter, and then Mars, of course, with Aries as well. But all those planets are in orbit in accordance with this lunation. So all of those energies pack in, Pluto, and that's the energy of endings, right? That is assisting with that releasing aspect. But again, with the Mars energy, is releasing very intentionally and aggressively, or at least assertively, let's say. And then with Jupiter, it's also with passion, but also with passion, but also with purpose. So it's not just frivolously like, throwing out the baby with the bathwater type of energy. It's literally being conscious of the big picture, the meaning of the things that you are engaging or considering, and the value that they hold in real time. And then the last aspect I would just touch on a bit is that also tomorrow at some point during the day, Venus is moving into Sagittarius, which also adds another element of a very synergized connection between Venus and Sag. They work pretty harmonious together, I think. But it's just giving an extra layer of optimism and purpose and expansive thinking to money matters, relationships, your own personal satisfaction, and sensationalism with life and the creativity of life, the beauty of life. So I feel like it's there. It definitely makes for some intensity with this lunation, given sometimes when the Aries is in the mix of a full moon, it can kind of be a bit of a push and pull dynamic, because Aries makes you want to do something and go and have and be and obtain and create, where full moons are usually more for the opposite of that. But again, if you can transmute or transfer that energy to its most effective placement, which is in the releasing, I think it'll make for a much more fluid transit for you. And to that point, be mindful of, in the spirit of Aries, feeling like if things aren't moving according to, moving in the command of your ambition, it's particularly new things, or, forging ahead, full steam ahead on something that may be a considerable cause for pause at this time, or just to approach in a different way. Be mindful of the energy to want to force an outcome, because that could just make for more frustration than what's really necessary, particularly on a full moon, when you should be more focused on rejuvenating and regenerating than anything. There is space for activity, activation, initiation, assertiveness, ambition, and drive, and all of those wonderful empowerments that Aries energy brings. But keep your mind as optimistic as possible, even when you may encounter resistance. And also consider the big picture, that if it can't get done today, tomorrow, or even in the next week or two, you always have the opportunity and the liberty, I should say. You always have the liberty to take that energy and transport it in a way that it can truly be most useful and productive. And if that means focusing more on, okay, if I can't do this, activate this, forward this motion or movement or project or agenda, then what are some things that I can do in a cleansing aspect that would just put me in a greater state of preparation for when it actually is time to move full steam ahead, in a more kinetic sensibility, So I think that was pretty much it. And like I said, check out yesterday's message, that it was greatly centered around love, which is still in alignment as well, because we're still in Libra season, and you can apply that to relationships of all types. But it also gave a hint of it just being an infusion of enthusiasm and excitement for something new, or an opportunity that's come around or is presenting itself in a way that either it hasn't fully and completely before, or in a way that is or an opportunity that itself is completely new and fresh, that you've never seen before. So in any event, temper your ambition and your passion to keep it as pure as possible, so that you can engage these amazing opportunities, whatever they are, and the most fresh and free energy that you possibly can for the optimum result. So there's no rush. Everything that is for you is right where it needs to be, and you are right where you need to be. If anything, take the opportunity to make sure you filtered out everything that could come between you and it, whatever it is, again, so that you can have as pure of a connection with that opportunity, that ideal, that partnership, that relationship, that job, that gift, that new place, whatever it is. There's an emphasis on a big it that is crystallizing, that might already more or less be within your reach or within your force field. It's not going anywhere. So don't stress yourself in the way of trying to apprehend it or seize it, or even seize the day to seize the day to connect with it, as much as you just continue to focus on, like fully completing this integration of your highest frequency, being that expressing itself as the being that is attractive of that thing, and that isn't necessarily so fixated on the proactivity. If anything, that is the energy that we're really integrating, is not focusing so much on the kinetic force behind our manifestations as we are the magnetic force and the magnetic field around us. So as long as there's still work or things that get to be purged from that magnetic field to purify it as much as possible, then you still have plenty of time to do that before you have to worry about any loss or any threat of missed opportunity or anything like that. You know, don't allow yourself to even be projected otherwise, to be in anxiety or eagerness or frustration about something you feel should already be literally in the palm of your hands now, when it's already in your force field. Just center your chi, so to speak, on who you get to be to call it unto you, because that's the energy that we're cultivating to be the new normal, so we can begin the life of living and working smart and not so hard. Okay, that's the initiation and the integration of energy that we're stepping into. So all right, I think that's enough on that. I probably will timestamp if it matters to you, but you'll know that at this point. Thank you for listening. This is the, pardon me, full moon reading. All right, so let's see what we got. Baby crying downstairs. Page of Swords, some observation. Someone, either you looking, searching for answers or seeking information, clarification, or someone looking, whether you can relate to this or, you know, looking at something, looking at someone, maybe someone looking at you. I don't know. Let's see. All right, so this is somebody looking at the Temperance. Looking at the Temperance, curious about maybe how to obtain their own new beginning. This is given like somebody observing someone and revering them as a bit of a phenomenon. Yeah, look, and here's the Ace of Pentacles. Maybe this is an angelic encounter like I spoke on yesterday. It kind of aligns with the Temperance and the Fool card. But the Page of Swords is kind of on the outside looking in. I don't know. It really kind of is given the Page of Swords having an encounter and coming out new. So like I said, it could be someone in search of maybe a different way, or the search of being enlightened, in search of truth, you know, wisdom, but of a high ordinance, you know, like philosophical truth, or even spiritual, or some energetic, maybe of something of a spiritual, like a sophisticated spiritual nature, you know, because the temperance is Jupiter energy, is Sagittarius energy. So it's going to be something that is not contained to, you know, your everyday information. You know, this is something that when someone is in that frequency, they're seeking to think beyond their limitations, to see things in a more expansive perspective, maybe even to see themselves in a scope of greater possibilities and limitlessness. Oh, Sun card. Wow, strength. Wow. Well, looks like they found it. They found whatever they were looking for. That seems to be the case to me. Maybe considering like what is their gift? What is their ability? You know, what is their supernatural essence? You know, searching for some evidence of that, or some understanding. Maybe that's what it is, searching for a deeper understanding of what they already perceive of themselves. Because remember yesterday I said angels most times encounter humanity reflectively to impart a word, or a revelation, a realization, an affirmation. What did I say earlier? I said angel encounters affirm your presence and advance your progress. That's what this is, which makes sense with the Fool card here. So this reflective encounter and experience is what ultimately, if somebody was looking for answers of their personal identity, or what either lies beneath the surface or beyond their limitations, this was the answer that appeared, whether it was in revelation, some type of, I feel like it feels more like a supernatural encounter of some sort. I don't know how or what or why, but whatever it is, it was all that was needed to affirm someone's presence as they are, you know, to dispel any ambiguity or obscurity about someone's true essence. When you're looking at an angel, you're seeing the best of yourself. You're seeing your spiritual nature before your eyes. Or if you're having an angel or an angelic encounter, whether it's you can actually see it with your physical eyes or not, or just sense it, it's again affirming your presence, your spiritual presence in the physical vessel. And then it's that encounter ultimately is what advances your progress to now assert yourself. You know, it's an integration of the spirit and the flesh, and then for you to then assert yourself in that identity and in that new awareness. And that's what this feels like here with the Fool card. It's like it literally is a gift, and it's you know, really reflecting to you your gifts, your natural abilities and spiritual talents. Well, maybe your natural talents and your spiritual abilities, and where those two intertwine, but also showing you, like empowering you with the confidence and the drive to take that enlightenment and now move ahead without inhibition, without hesitation. And that really does kind of like get into what I said about this lunation, you know, that we got that Aries drive pushing us and pulling us, depending on how you respond to Aries energy. It definitely ignites a fire in your belly to want to do something with yourself, whether it's to finish something you started, to start something altogether new, to activate some new frequency within yourself or some new identity of yourself, to initiate it, to assert it, maybe even it could even spark the curiosity to discover it, to literally put you on the path to discovery of that thing. And then here it is. This is the gift. Here's the strengthened ability and will and the confidence, here. And here's the sun, that soul force empowering your ambitions. That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, this is double Leo energy right here. Like, it's literally encouraging you to take, I don't know, I'm hesitating to say that. I don't know why, but I'll just say it. It may not be holistically true for everyone, but it's kind of like take this show on the road is what I heard. Especially with the Fool card, there could be some connection to that, some resonance there. But even if you're just, still in the same place that you are, it's something about drawing back the curtain and allowing yourself to be seen, allowing yourself to be a spectacle, if that's what it comes down to, or at least not minding if people watch, You take that however you will, but of course I mean it in the purest form. Like, these are talents and gifts that are divinely ordained or designed, that only you embody. You have like double. First of all, we got the angelic encounter, which I'm saying to you is affirmation, green light energy. But then we got the sun, which is like the natural spotlight, and divine at the same time, as above so below, that just really like is the endorsement from the divine to let your light shine, that whatever it is you've discovered of yourself to be unique and interesting and maybe even entertaining or fascinating, that you have the invitation to express that, to fully express that without any inhibition here and without any insecurity. That's the biggest thing, because that's what's most absent here. Like, it starts out with that, with the Page of Swords on this side, but everything else is pointing to there being a supreme self-esteem in whatever it is that you discover yourself, or whomever you discover yourself to be. And that is okay, so this makes sense. So that's probably the key ingredient, the key focus in this releasing energy of this full moon. If there's any insecurity left in your force field, any perverted pride where you feel like almost embarrassed to be seen a certain way, or to be exposed even a certain way, I think those are the areas where like you get to be fierce, like the Aries warrior that we're being supported by, to just cut that out. Like, take your sword, take your bow and arrow, take, whatever it is that whatever your weapon of choice may be, and to cut that out of your force field, because those are the blemishes that are keeping you from shining most brilliantly, especially in the ways that the divine has already endorsed you to do so. So if there's still any way, that's the point of assertiveness and even aggression. If there's anything to take your aggression out on, it's on insecurities that have well overstayed their welcome at this point. And even still, like with some sense of grace, because this is the Page of Swords, not the King of Swords, or even the Knight of Swords, who's really aggressive. You know, it's examining these unwanted guests, maybe in some sense uninvited guests, and really confronting their presence. You know, like, why are you still here? Why do you still exist? Why are you still lingering? You know, that guest that just won't leave when everybody else is gone, that's still lingering behind. Like you don't, you know, like they want to spend the night. You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, I'm really tired. Oh, I gotta get up early tomorrow. You giving all the hints, all the subtle hints. Well, Aries is not subtle. Aries is direct and assertive and affirmative and sometimes downright ignorant. If you let them be. If you miss the point too long, they're definitely not going to take too much time trying to find the right words or to be diplomatic about affirming their comfort zone, you know, or filtering out anything that is intrusive to that. So in that regard, we can borrow from Aries and really just being firm and assertive as to what still has a place and what doesn't. Why you may still be allowing a guest to hang around by way of an insecurity. And that can range in so many different things, which would absolutely be unique to you. But with all this positivity on the board, like I said, an angel affirming your precious identity, if you were ever in search or in question about it, and giving you permission to just be fruitful and multiply, literally with the Sun card here. And then the strength with that extra layer of confidence at the core, you know, that's the confidence of your spiritual and carnal experiences. You've lived enough and experienced enough at this point to know that you have authority over both of those polarities. You know, they answer to you. They don't consume you and they don't command you. You know, you have the whole of yourself under control, let's say, more or less. And then, you know, the Pentacles is the payoff. So it's like you wouldn't want to forfeit this supreme reward and return on account of you just being you organically, because there's still something lingering that's keeping you from being you. And you could try to force your way into a desirable outcome all you wanted. That's where you would really hit a wall of frustration if you're still allowing things to linger that are contrary to who you are naturally and spiritually. That authority is really left up to you. The spirit is never going to come clean your house for you. You're going to have to do it yourself to clear out whatever is still in the way, you know, that's still obstructing your spotlight, you know, taking up too much room on the stage or in the frame or whatever the case may be, from allowing you to just exist in the brilliance of, you know, being your best. So yeah, there's that. Okay, let's see what else we got. Because I don't have incense burning and I ain't even started timers, so I could be running my mouth forever on this. Not even knowing how long it is. All right, so we got the Page of Swords and the Seven of Cups. Interesting. So this is more page energy, so it must be something at a, yeah, well, Aries is like, it's the first sign in the zodiac that's like, you know, it's like the kid, the child, the baby. So it's something about clearing the ambiguity at catering to your inner child and clearing perhaps maybe like I'm hearing like the calcification. Ooh, that's for your third eye then, or your first eye really is what we say. So it's clearing the grime that may have calcified. And what's highlighted here that I just looked up to with this temperance is the pineal gland right over his first eye, or her, whichever's first eye. And strangely enough, never noticed this before, but if you can see, there's like a small dot here in the middle of his turban. That is exactly that. It's something about cleansing that focal point, that scope, that perspective, which makes sense when like I said, Sagittarius energy in the Temperance card is the statement is I see, and it's about seeing things from a high perspective, like from a wide lens. Now that's a really small dot, and then we got all this confusion with the Seven of Cups. So it's something here about really clearing away the illusions. And some of it might, again, much of it was already cleared away for us in the eclipse cycle, but there's some type of closure or finality that may be coming to light that will really crystallize some truth for you. And in that case, I would say, especially given the intensity, whatever that truth is to be revealed, be sure to temper your response and your reaction, because it may or may not be favorable the way that I'm sensing it here. You know, the thing is on one hand, which may not be initially regarded, especially if it's particularly shocking, news or revelation. But on one hand, it could be quite liberating to finally get to the bottom of some things that may have been mysterious or unclear for a while. So there's that. But sometimes it's like, like they say, ignorance is bliss, which I don't agree with, but once you know, and that definitely eliminates the bliss factor when it's something that might not be all that savory to finally know, or to have evidence for, or to be affirmed about, So whatever that is something that's going to clear this fog, so there will be no more space to wonder or consider. It'll be very sure what it is. But I would say temper your response and reaction, because with it being Aries driven, of course, there is that fiery reactionary impulse that sometimes can have you act or speak even before you consider the repercussions or the impact that you could make. Now, I also would say that whatever needs to be released, maybe it just is the time for it to be so, but for the protection of your peace of mind and your groundedness, I would say be as considerate and thoughtful and tempered as you can possibly be, even when encountering things that, by all intents and purposes, deserve an aggressive response. Just because it deserves it or it provokes it doesn't mean that you got to give it up. You know what I mean? And with this Page of Cups energy here, it worries me just a bit, because the Page of Cups, the Page of Swords, these are all, even the Fool card, these are all, how can I say it? Like, first of all, they're immature energy. So that's one thing. Impressionable, that's the better word. Impressionable energies. You may even be caught off guard by some revelation or exposure with the Sun card in the beginning. And it may be of an emotional nature, which we're particularly as human beings delicate, in that area, sensitive in that area. So just protect your inner child, and the peace of your inner child as, again, aggressively and intentionally as you possibly can, like really securing your peace of mind as much as you possibly can, even as you are allowing, again, the space and opportunity for closure to be established, because that, as much as it might not be comfortable or even comforting, some aspects of it, it also is clearing the way for, again, what you want more of, like where if it's a matter of learning a harsh truth in order to live in liberty, then so be it. You have all of the strength and authority and command over your emotions that you decide that you have, so that you can groundedly accept whatever is revealed or whatever is presented, and ultimately alchemize it, as the temperance energy does, to be something that works in your favor. As I've already given you a little bit of a cheat sheet, you know what I mean? Like, it may or may not feel good to hear or to know or to realize, but now you get to move on because you do know, or because you have a deeper understanding, or a certain confirmation, or whatever it is, you know what I mean, is working for you, not against you at this time. All right, so, oh, child, see, I know I don't be saying nothing for nothing. And this is the energy that would want to provoke you at your most vulnerable state to have a reaction that is self-destructive, or even that is regressive, to trigger you into a response or into an emotional surge that is debilitating in some way, shape, or form. You've already been put on notice. Like, there's nothing that could really shock you to the core to have you falter in this way, literally to provoke you to anger or aggression or back to insecurity, you know what I mean? Like, that's this energy here with the Page of Cups too, like to be insecure even about how you feel or how something makes you feel, or what emotions are evoked. Anything that comes up now again at this time can be confronted like the warrior that you already are. It's nothing new. You've seen it all, you've done it all. It's not going to be anything fresh and new at this point. It just may be at a time that, is off-putting because of how far you have come, or because of ultimately how intentional you've been to release certain things from your force field and to secure that force field from this engagement or this intrusion. But it's nothing that you wouldn't have seen already. So therefore, like, where energy such as this thinks that they would be catching you off guard or blindsiding you would already be poised and ready to alchemize that energy in your favor, and then to release whatever of it is waste, pretty much, and to move on, to move forward in that full energy, footloose and fancy free, as you were already on your way to be, without a delay. That's the best way that you could respond to frequencies such as this that mean to regress you into a self-destructive state, or an insecure state, or a helpless state, is to transmute that energy, find the gift in it for you, if nothing else, forgive any of it that is unfavorable and release the rest. You ain't gotta draw the only sword that you would ever need to draw is just the truth of it all. And that's wrapped into all of that process that I just said. You ain't gotta curse nobody out. You ain't gotta throw hands. You ain't gotta insult nobody or come out of character. Sometimes you don't even have to say anything, because sometimes just your silence or your reservation or conservatism is response enough, for it to be good for you. So just be mindful of the intensity of this time. And I feel like, to see it forwardly as something favorable, again, it's really just to put that final stamp of closure on a cycle that has already passed. It's already done. You're already moving forward into something new. But like I said, sometimes things rear their head, like peek up as that guest that's like, you still here? I thought you left hours ago, years ago, weeks ago, lifetimes ago. And it's like, okay, all right, well, we're gonna call it a night or a life now. So thanks for coming. Appreciate you. It's been real. Let me see you out. Oh no, don't worry. Don't we know you'll get home safely. No need to call. Safe travels to you. So long. See that right to the door, never to return again, and it will never get an invitation to come back after this season is past. And it knows it, which is the only reason why it's still trying to hang around. Child. All right, let's see. Three of Wands. Yeah, it's time to look forward to something new. Something that matters, really and truly. Something that is of high value. Something that is precious and long-lasting and sustainable. Something that truly pertains to the future. Certainly not the past. Certainly not the past. This is an outlook to a brighter future. What's on the bottom? Yeah, exactly. The Chariot and all the wonderful wins and achievements that are already underway. Like the ships are already coming in. You ain't got time to be. I was about to say, I ain't got time. What do you say? I'm living my best life. I. What does he say? I ain't going back and forth with you. If you know, you know. You ain't going back and forth with these lower frequencies. Like that cycle is done. It's time to be moving on and looking ahead to living your best life. And again, yet another card of will, determination, strength, persistence, resilience. Like you've overcome too much, you've seen too much, you've fought through too much to be here to look back or to regress in some helpless state that isn't even like it's not even a part of your identity. Not only have you physically grown older now than these page energies, but you have energetically, spiritually, mentally, psychologically, you've evolved. It's not even just a growing, like this is about evolution. There's the energy of transcendence here, ascendance here, that would have elevated you above the three-dimensional containment at this point, where the energies that are only contained to this three-dimensional realm, i.e. from that devil frequency, where that's really all that's where they reside. They can't really go any higher. It can't go much higher than that. You've already found your way above and beyond that. You know, like why would you even feel the need to answer to certain energies that can't meet you where you are or refuse to? You know, and I'm not really speaking about that as in people. It's more energy than anything. It may materialize as people. It certainly could, but I'm speaking of that more as energies, internal energies and ideals and I don't know, like I don't know how to say it, but like this is more personal. All that other, even the things that would propose themselves to be adverse to your, or people that would propose themselves to be adverse to you at this point, that's illusionary. Like they don't really have any more relevance in your force field than you allow them to have, again, like the unwanted guest. But I'm talking about the residue of that frequency that could still be lingering, if it is at all, because maybe you have completely cleansed and you're doing great. You know, I sure hope so for your sake that that is true, and that's amazing. But if there is anything, you know, there's maybe somebody that you didn't, or something that you didn't know was still hanging around. This is that transit to finally see it to the door with no remorse, regret, no guilt, no shame, no hesitation, no apprehension, no second thought. Your space is sanctified now. Your force field is, your auric field is sanctified now, that only a certain vibration is welcome. Only a certain vibration should have access at this point. Anything else is an intrusion. And this is like, you know, security, monitoring the premises, making sure that if it's not force fuel for forward march, you know, by divine orders, then it's escorted out, kicked out, cut out, beat out. I'm always saying that because it's Aries and sometimes things can get aggressive, but otherwise, hold your peace. Hold your peace. Another page, my goodness. Another page, Page of Wands. Now this is definitely good news, you know, on a fresh start, a new adventure, something to look forward to, an opportunity that could be exciting, a new way to experience yourself in new energy as well, maybe even, you know, seeing yourself in a different frequency than you had before. Maybe you've been super nice, you know, or super tolerant of certain things. You've learned to even live with certain people, places, and things, you know, kind of mutually coexist even to your discomfort. And it's going on long enough, and maybe it's a surprise even to you at how assertive and resolved you have become to establish a certain boundary or maintain a certain standard. Either way, it's a good experience to have. And if you feel a projection otherwise, where you do begin to feel like, oh, maybe I'm being too harsh, or I'm being too sensitive, or I'm being too, maybe I didn't say that right, or maybe I shouldn't have said it at all, like the things that would make you kind of backtrack on would ultimately puts you in the most desirable position. Like maybe you consider maybe you could have said something differently, but it's yielded the results you want, which is for things to be released from your force field, or people to leave you alone, or for you to be released from a place, or for you to secure a certain experience for yourself. Whatever it is, it feels like something about speaking up for yourself, like putting your foot down. In a sense, kind of like a child would without inhibition, except for it's more so I feel like the page energy is coming up because it's something about really, if there's any regression, it's about making up for the vulnerabilities of your childhood experiences that maybe once upon a time you couldn't speak for, or maybe even you being in a vulnerable place, even in your adult years, where you felt taken advantage of or exploited, or felt like you didn't quite really protect yourself, or maybe that you weren't protected. It's something about really asserting that power now, and it not allowing yourself to feel like you missed out on anything up until this point, but just really allowing it to be fresh and in order in this present moment to say, well, maybe I never have said that this is how I feel, but it is. Or maybe I've never put my foot down to say I don't want X, Y, and Z, or I don't want to do X, Y, and Z, or I'm not X, Y, and Z, but that's what I feel guided to do on today, or at this time. So, allow it that. I feel like that's also a filtering process as well through this lunation, to allow things to release from you organically. And of course, some of us may be a bit more conservative than others or careful than others, but generally speaking, there might be some things that just need to be let go, that in a different space and time you may not have chosen to do so, or you would have chosen to do so differently, but it may just be the ordinance to forge balance at this time where there's been a resistance to it, that it was just a necessary evil, it was just necessary for it to be as it was. So you'll have to consider that discernment for yourself. But one thing's for sure, with the temperance here and this being a reflective energy, you have the wisdom and you have the power and you have the temperance, you have the patience and the self-control to do everything that you need to do for yourself and still be graceful about it. You do have it, just what levels, what decimals you discern to use it, that's up to you, because exactly what judgments you make in that authority, that's between you and the divine. And in that same regard, who's to say that how you said it or how you did it or how you feel about it is not completely admissible and in alignment with the divine? That's certainly not for anyone outside of that understanding to say, to decide. But you'll know. Just be mindful that everything is cause and effect, though. So you want to really be mindful of creating the best possible outcome for yourself when it's all said and done. And sometimes that can be a matter of abstaining or conserving your energy, and sometimes that can be a matter of unleashing, But what it is that you truly, truly, truly desire to create, the experience, the finality, the closure, the ending for the new beginning, the fresh start, that's up to you at this point. That's between you and the divine, but it's you that's acting in that authority in the flesh. So you're being entrusted to know exactly how to go about that. And it's particularly with the Aries full moon, like that's literally passing you the baton and giving you the power to run with it. You know, that assertive, initiated energy now integrated with spiritual wisdom. It's like you get to it's already been it's being integrated, it's already been assumed, and now it's a matter of what's the word that I'm trying to use, like not asserting it, but applying it. I guess assert or apply, but yeah, like it's showtime, you know what I mean? Oh boy. Six of Pentacles. Yeah, here's the balance, give and take. You deciding what gets to be shared, what gets to be reserved, what you command or demand as reciprocity, and what you refuse. That's what this card is giving me here. And again, it's the Page of Wands, because it's definitely a potential to have a positive outlook on this dynamic, you know, not to carry any old baggage with you, or trauma, resentment, bitterness, you know, like none of that, which is why it's so important to release as much of it as possible. But it's for the purposes of now affirming the dynamic, the creation of that dynamic for yourself that you would have wished or have wished that you always had. Okay. Yeah. So now this is so forwarding right here, because as opposed to being regressive and feeling victimized about what you may have missed out on or lacked, or what voids you may have encountered, this is taking all of that inventory and now taking the wand in your own hands, even as what appears to be a novice, because in some ways you may not know exactly how all that gets to be done or created, but having the will and the outlook and optimism, the ambition, the drive, the passion to do for yourself, and perhaps even project unto others what you always wished to have for yourself, some of which you may have no reference point of experience for, but you know you desire it and you know you deserve it. That's dope. Now that's some transmutation right there. So it doesn't matter what could be revealed, what could be expressed, exposed, discovered, uncovered, you know, experience. It doesn't matter what it could possibly be. What you absolutely have all power, authority, and control over is how you take that information and that experience and make of it something that is productive and prosperous, and something that not only would have value for you and to you, but also has the potential to advance or enhance other people's lives, even if it's just by way of your testimony or, you know, just your story or the wisdom that you gleaned from your experiences, your choices, like whatever it is literally alchemizing the best of times and the worst of times, or the best of energy and the worst of energy, and making it mean something, assigning a new value to it in your life. That is right there the best possible way to react and respond to any low vibrational energies that may come close to that devil frequency, or or emulated in any way, shape, and form to regress you back into anything unfavorable or undesirable. That right there is the knockout for that energy before it could even really get comfortable in your force field. It wouldn't even have a moment to take its shoes off. Yep. All right, let's see what's on the bottom here. And there's a Knight of Swords. Didn't I speak him up? What was I talking about? Oh, I was saying about the aggression. Well, hey, let's see what he's after. Ooh, the Emperor. Child, well, I don't know. This could be those domineering forces in your life that have sought to manipulate or monopolize control against your will. You know, again, like that sense of feeling unprotected, vulnerable, insecure, you know. This could be I was saying earlier that there's something to be said about it being the Page of Swords and not necessarily the Knight of Swords or the King of Swords. It's not as aggressive, but this is absolutely aggressive. This is an aggressive stance against the establishment. Maybe that's what that's representing here with the Emperor card, against the confinement of societal order, perhaps, and anything that facilitate anything or anyone that facilitates that order, that that oversees it, maintains it, monopolizes from it, benefits from it, like whatever is connected to that order. And I mean, you know, and it's really about reclaiming your power. That's what I think thank you, because that is Aries energy as well. So this is about aggressively, thank you, Spirit. And sometimes in order to reclaim your power, it is an offense to whomever was seeking to hold on to it, you know. But in this case, the more forwarding perspective, that high-minded perspective that we love so much from Sagittarius, is really about aggressively taking your power back, reestablishing yourself as the authority of your life, particularly in the flesh, for sure, if you have trouble with that in any other regard. But there's nobody else that is going to be operating in the authority of your vessel in the 3D other than you, unless you defer your power to some other force or source. I often establish my ideals of co-creativity between spirit and flesh, divine and humanity. Whether or not you can ascribe to that is up to you, but for sure, one thing's for sure is that you have control and power over your physical vessel and over the energy that is projected from it and connected to it. And this lunation is about reclaiming your power. And the first way that you can reclaim your power is, again, making sure to expel, eliminate, release, every which way you can consider the phrase to put out any energies that are in opposition to you and that full authority. Insecurities, unworthiness, shame, guilt, scarcity, fear, addictions, obsessions, regressions, unforgiveness, like every density that you could possibly like look under the couch, behind the cushions, clean out the closets, the refrigerator, your car, your desk at work, like the closets in your house, under the bed, every possible place that something of the sort could hide in your force field is worth seeking out aggressively and eliminating furiously if need be. So, or I should more say, seeking out furiously and eliminating aggressively. That probably is a better fit. And that's exactly what this energy is here. It's time to reclaim your power. All of it, not just part of it, all of it. Is your house, it's your home, it's your sanctuary, it's your force field, it's your aura, it's your talent, your gifts, your birthright, your destiny, your purpose, your promise, everything that has been divinely assigned to you is everything. You have authority to reclaim everything that has been divinely assigned to you. And anyone or anything that is laying unlawful claim to it should feel like they're in great danger at this point. They should not feel comfortable to still kick off their shoes and kick up their feet and say, fuck your couch and stay as long as they so choose. No, it's time to see it to the door and ask that it never return. And by your command, it won't. All right? Nothing that you give permission and invitation to reside will do so at this point in time, as long as you are fully operative in the authority of that identity. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Happy full moon to you and all the hyperactiveness. Don't forget to get some rest, rejuvenate, recover, reflect, regenerate. Remind yourself how amazing you are based on the encounters in your life that say so and show you so. And don't lose sight of that reflection. Thank you for listening and watching again. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.